Good, okay, so we're going. This is where things get a little bit more nerdy and detailed. I'm going to throw a lot of information at you, and there's no compulsion to remember them all. So I'll always try to compress the information, and you can always look at the YouTube video afterwards. Hands up who is here, for whom that footlocks in general is still quite a new thing and is a little bit. If you're a black belt, do not put your hand up. All right. And there are many. Thank you. There are many reasons for that. Mainly because it's just not taught, or that it's just not part of your game, or you haven't introduced to it yet, or for a reason. You can go through many belt levels and just avoid the whole leg lock game itself. I'll tell you more about my story later on. Let's look at the main leg attacks. All right, you can come a bit closer if you want. I'll talk for a bit. I don't want to get too cold, and then we'll do some drills. There are just 4 joint-based leg attacks that can occur on your opponent. 4. If you know 4 attacks, you know 4 defenses. There's just 8 things you have to remember. So therefore, I've already stripped away the scary factor of what leg looks are and the whole mumbo-jumbo of information and the many layers of information. Just 4. There are others, I'll talk about those later, but we won't do them. And you can do them on yourself, the perfect COVID isolation drill. Let's go to the first one. So I want you to all take your leg. Depending on how flexible you are, you might want to lie on your back for this one, but do look at me. We can look at the first one. First one, you're going to take your blade of your hand and you're going to go underneath your Achilles tendon. And you're going to press down on your toes, not the instep, the toes. And you're going to press straight down. So your hand goes up and hand goes down. Okay? If you're tapping already, good. If you're not tapping, then you're a good training partner to yourself. Right, what I want you to do, just relax a bit so you're not hurting. By the way, don't twist yet. It's absolutely straight. All right? What I want you to do is take this Achilles tendon hand and rotate it around so it's off the Achilles tendon and onto the bone. But this is the same. This goes down, this goes up. Press up. Okay? Now what I want you to do is take the same hand, bring it towards you, and you're off the Achilles tendon, again on the bone, but on the other side. And you're pushing up, pressing down. This is a great Zoom lesson, and you can take notes, okay? Now I want to take the fulcrum, which is this part, and move it up, slightly higher up. You're still on the Achilles tendon, but where it starts to join the calf muscle. Same action again, we're going to push down and up. So I want you to just get a feel of what this is. This is basically the straight ankle lock. It's just a straight movement, it's just here. But you can already see there's a very wide margin with which you can apply the fulcrum and create pain. And we're going to utilize that later in the session when I show you the variety of straight ankle locks you can do. But let's play around with all the other things fun things you can do as an introduction. I want you to grab your own toes, crunch them in, like the handlebars of a motorcycle grip. Crunch them down like this. All right, all got that? And take the hand and push the ankle outwards. And what you're trying to do is bend your toe in towards your own private parts. I talk about private parts a lot in my sessions. I don't know why. Okay, and it simulates like tripping over and twisting your ankle, which is going to pull the ligaments here. Okay, so that's your toe hold. All right. The other one where you can have a play with and just understand the mechanics of, I'd say this is just an introduction, are the heel hooks. And what you want to do is you want to bend your leg and kick the heels forward. We're going to grab the toes and we're going to cup the heel. And you're going to move the heel towards you and you're going to move it away. And that basically are the heel hooks. Okay, this. And if you can visualize how your 2 bones move, they're doing this. And the ligaments that join the bones and the muscles, they're also doing this. But your femur is not doing that. So only these are moving, and obviously that's how things break and snap, right? Finally, we're going to look at the knee bar. This is the final of the 4 ones that I want to show you. And the best way to demonstrate it on yourself, very safely, COVID compliant, is to take your ankle over your knee bone. If that hurts, you can take it just above the knee bone, but not below, above. Reach over if you can, and pull up. That's your knee bar on yourself. If that hurt you, then think of what you can do to your opponent, right? Now there are others. There are calf crushers, which are like that, which crush the muscle there, or as my dearly beloved, now departed sensei calls the knee splitter, which is a much more accurate description. Anytime you create a wedge underneath here and pull in, the knee bones separate, okay? So we're not going to do that today, but just to show you that it's there. The other ones are more obscure, and they are the hip locks, where your legs are spread apart and they create a muscle stretch here, and also put your femur bone at an extreme angle. And then there are ones that pull out like this, twisting and contorting your femur bone, the hip and ball and socket joint outwards. We're not going to cover those. Those are more obscure, and I must admit that's not in my field of expertise. Not that I'm an expert in anything, but I just don't do those ones. But I do straight ankle locks a lot, and toe holds, and I'm beginning to add a lot more heel hooks to my game as well. Let's go into, now it's the nerdy portion of the class. We're going to look at just the straight ankle lock. I'll turn this way actually. Yeah. The reason I like the straight ankle lock is because you can do it from white belt onwards. And the reason people sort of don't trust it enough is when they get the straight ankle lock, it doesn't work on everyone. They haven't got all the little bits and pieces. It's quite easy to defend. You put the boot on, kick the... It doesn't work. And even worse, if you grab my lapels, stand up, I put myself in a terrible position. You've got to deal with all of that. And then you get put off and they don't try it again. But if you persist with it and add all the nuances, you'll realize it's actually still as good as heel hooks, toe holds, and all the others, in my opinion. And there are many black belts who use just the straight ankle lock as their finishing move, is their go-to move. At black belt level, can you imagine that? A white belt technique, use that black belt. So Rodrigo Cavaca is very famous, Cavaca, sorry. I don't know how many degrees, 5, 6, 7 degrees. He uses this all the time. Person I follow is Rolly Delgado, really good person, mentor, who's got some instructionals that I follow, but also he's been emailing me stuff and helped me out with this stuff. And lots of people use straight ankle locks, so hopefully I can impart some of that to you. But first, before we get into the finish, we need to look at the hold, the leg entanglement. And the most universally common one, and still probably the best one to use, is the single leg X. Let's look at the single leg X. We did it already in warm-up. We got into this position. I just didn't tell you all the details. This is where you have to do it properly, so you have to take note of details. Let's look at the outside leg. The outside leg goes on top of the hip, and it wedges in really tight. If you just lie down so they can see, wedges in really tight here. This is where things can go wrong, because people get lazy and it just falls off, or they push it off. It's got to be tight, all right? And very important, I'm going to talk a bit more about the rules later on, but in the gi rules, you can't go across the belly line, all right? It has to be just here, which can cause a bit of problem because some people think it's not very secure here. Well, you can make it secure by digging in, all right? Toes pulled back, heel forward, part one. Second thing you need to do is this leg here. This flares outwards and hooks around, again, I'm putting the boot on, heel out, toes back, around his buttock, and I'm joining the knees together. Ideally, I want my knee covering my ankle here, but sometimes it's a bit hard to get that depending on the anatomy, so as close as you can. All right, and I'm curling, leg curling in. And it's quite hard to hold that for quite a while, but hopefully by the time you've sorted out your attack, you won't need to hold it for that long. But this alone, I want you to get good at. And what we're doing with the ankle at the moment, we're just chicken winging. I'm not looping around. I'm just chicken winging, yeah? Holding around, reserving it in place here. And I'm leaning my body weight on it. Tight, heel in place, knee joining here, flared outwards. And we're just asking our friend to move away from here. And I'm still here. Oh, I lost the arm. Move, and I'm still here. That's where you want to be. You don't want to be here. Move away. And that's where your straight ankle lock will fall down because you didn't get the leg entanglement, the single leg X, in place. So once again, just to recap. Number one, outside leg, clamp on, nice and tight. Curl, leg curl in, heel dug in. Number two, the flaring leg. Put the boot on, curl it around his butt cheek, knee to ankle if you can. Weight on the foot, and you're curling inwards and you're keeping everything tight, and ask your partner to extract their leg. And you should follow like this. Now, if he can't get away, that means you've got every chance, the best chance you can to now work your thing on the finish. Yes? Yes. So we'll do that. 1, 2, 3. Let's go. Thank you. I'm going to take my gi off for this bit so you can see the arm bits. Now we're going to look into the finish. So already we're in the world where it gets a bit confusing because people call things different names. I literally just called it single leg X, and that's what it is. It's the same position whether you're standing up or standing down. It's a single leg X guard. But you'll often see it referred to as ashi garami or even single ashi. Don't worry about the names. It's just the Western people's idea of bastardization of Japanese language. All right, that's basically what it is. Jiu-jitsu folk love to take something, make it sound hip and cool. Donald, let's look at the finish. So if you spin there, so we're here. Now, we've established that we know how to hold the single leg X nice and tight. And you'll remember that I've just done the chicken wing, and I'm leaning my weight on it because I don't want any part to be extracted. I've made sure I've been very disciplined, so he can't at least extract. There are, of course, many other ways he can finish, and we'll cover the defenses after this. But for now, we're looking at the finish. Now, for the finish, obviously, I want to loop my arm around. Just to be, since this hand is not doing anything, I might as well just use it, bring it up, and raise my hips up and go around here. For the purposes of this particular finish, I'm going to use what we call the guillotine grip. Here. So as you would do a guillotine choke on someone's head, like this. This is what we're doing. So once again, I'm chicken winging, I'm cupping, I'm raising, and I've got the guillotine grip. You want this as high as you can, so use this hand to assist you. Now don't do what I did in the early days, is this. So Donald just reaches up and grabs my hand, pulls it off, and now I'm left with just this. Not the end of the world, but now this becomes annoying. Gi or no gi, this happens because they see this. I was born in the year of the chicken, and I guess this is why I like doing chicken wings. Right, so we're here, we're hiding the elbow, we're bringing this hand up as high as we can. This is disciplined, all right? And what I like to do, and it's slightly different from how other people teach it, is drop the elbow. Now this is a bit where it gets a bit technical. There's 3 parts to the finish. Most people, and again, this goes back to why people find that they can't finish it, just stretch back. And maybe you get a tap, maybe you get. You can arch quite a lot. And by accident, they'll get the tap. But what we've worked out is there's actually more components to it. The first stage is the grip itself. You want to get it as high as you can, and you get it on the fulcrum. Already your opponent can feel it. It's annoying, isn't it? He's a black belt. He's not going to show his fear in his eyes, but I know this is annoying. I can feel his Achilles tendon grizzling underneath my. I don't want to go for the advantage. Hiding the elbow, everything. Okay, I'm putting my weight on. This makes it very hard to extract. The second part of the dynamic here is my hip. I'm moving my hip again. It's all about hips. There's an added part of that is I'm puffing my chest out. What I'm doing is I'm filling the space. Look at my chest, puffing my chest, using my hips. He's already tapping. I didn't even need to stretch back. I'm going to loosen this up so purely for the demonstration of the final part. Okay, this is really loose, but I can tell I'm going to get it as well. How can I do this loosely? I'll tell you what, I'll do it like this. Just to demonstrate what I'm doing here. Puffing my chest, hips involved, I'm filling all the spaces. And you usually get a tap from that. But if you do need to finish it, that final little bit, then you can start looking back. Look at my arms. That was his ankle. Okay, so, sorry buddy, I'm gonna... No, so good. All from the beginning. Straight ankle lock, chicken wing. I just want to keep my options open. When you do this early on, and you do it, you're only committed to the one thing. This chicken wing trains you for later on when you want to do the heel hook game. But for now, we're just doing straight ankle locks. Chicken wing, hand, raise, bring the hand in, bring it up high as you can, hide the elbow. 3 parts of the power dynamic, puff the chest. I'm going to puff the chest slightly less. Hips engaged, we stretch back. At the same time, I'm lifting this just to give it a little extra spice. Give your partner a little rub, massage afterwards. Because honestly, can you describe where the actual pressure point was?
Well, I love this bit. That's a nice thing, and as well, you're really.
There's a little bit of a twist.
And on the outside and
Good.
inside. Yeah.
So I'm glad you mentioned that. If you do it like this, secretly, you're doing a toe hold. Yeah. Ref doesn't know it, but you're doing a toe hold combined with a straight ankle lock. But it's all legal. The moment you walk in the door, that's legal.
They can't see it.
They can't see it, and it's still. Anyway, let's go with that. 1, 2, 3. We've established that the single leg X should be nice and tight. We've established that the chicken wing is good enough. We're putting the weight on, but we still need to loop. So I'm going to lift and loop, and I'm hiding my elbow. Somebody asked a very good question about angle, the angle of the fulcrum. And it is true. When you do the actual Achilles lock, it's helpful to have your forearm perpendicular to the target. And the more you reduce that, the harder it is. But I find that up to a limit, I can get quite a wide angle of attack. So I could even be here. Look, it's almost parallel, and I'll get a finish. What makes it work is that I'm filling all the spaces. At the moment, there's no pressure. I'm not doing anything. You can put a hand through here. You can put a hand through here. There's a hand through here. See all the spaces. So imagine you're underwater and there's air bubbles coming out. You want to fill those out. And that's the purposes of leaning on here, guillotine grip, puff the chest. I'm filling the space up here. I'm leaning my shoulder back. It's another little detail. I'm leaning my shoulder back. Okay? And I haven't even put the straight ankle lock here, but you can feel it's imminent, right? Leaning the shoulder, filling the space behind the armpit, filling the space underneath my chest. Here comes the hips, fills the space here, and then comes the arch. And we're getting that. All right, and if we just slowly dissect it, look at my arm. It's like I'm carrying the Financial Times underneath here, right? It's not perpendicular. But what I did was stretch this out, put the fulcrum here, and put the pressure on. If you get those bits right, you can do the party trick, which I showed over there. Here's your party trick. Okay, we're back to single leg X. We're carrying the Financial Times. Okay? I'm not looping around, puffing the chest, hips engaged, looking back. What did I do? Weird, right? Because that's where the straight ankle lock comes in, not from the fulcrum. This is just to hold it in place and add a little bit of a leverage. But no arms, no loop, no grip. Shoulders back, puff the chest. Remember, single leg X has to be in place. Hips go forward, arch back. Weird. Want to try that? If it works, you've done all the space filling correctly. If it doesn't, either your opponent is a beast or you've not fulfilled all the criteria of the space filling. Yes? Good. 1, 2, 3, let's go. So, just to recap, we looked at the most basic white belt of all white belt techniques. This is the straight ankle lock, and ways to make sure that it will work for you. But of course, training partners and opponents do this really annoying thing. They defend and they stop you from submitting them. It's so annoying. And if only they would just stop wriggling around, you could actually finish your technique. And that's the side that we want to be. We want to be the annoying person that doesn't allow the straight ankle lock person to do their thing. So I'll start off with showing you the basic defense and escape from the single leg X ashi garami position, and then we'll look at all the other things you can do to add in. It's like throwing weapons, bombs, defenses, blockades, whatever, at your attacker to make their life as hard as possible. And in between those throwing up the defenses, you're going to find your way out. That's the mentality you should have. You should never have the mentality of, I've learned an attack, and if I go from A to B, I finish the attack, because as you know, it doesn't work. Same with defense. You don't go, well, this is how you defend a Kimura. This is how you defend an armor. You do it, and you think, oh, I've still got caught. No, you've got to throw a dozen things, and in between those things, you escape. So it's a bit piecemeal. Anyway, this is where Jun gets to take his revenge and do a single leg X and footlock on me. So I can borrow you, sir. All the action will be on this side. So if you're here, you can't see anything, so you need to be more over there. So Jun is getting a single leg X on me, or ashi garami position. We'll spin around this way. Now, this is the old Mario Sperry joke. Jun didn't wake up one morning and just discover he was in single leg X guard, and nor did I wake up going, oh, you're attacking me. Maybe I should do something about it. Clearly, within our grappling scenario, I ended up in this position. Whether he has the loop around my ankle, whether he doesn't, what you need to do the moment you see this position, and you can feel your foot is starting to get trapped, is put the boot on and stick your leg into him like you want to kick him. Please don't actually kick, because you might miss and hit their face. And this alone will buy you a lot of time. Essentially what you're doing is buying time. So the first thing you're going to do is put the boot on, and then your opponent, with their nice single leg X position, is going to loop around and try and straight ankle lock you. You can start when you're ready, John. And we got there. Good. Now we're going to add more things to it. We're going to add the gi grip. Ideally, you want to get this one because this pulls the attacking arm, but sometimes you can't reach that. In no gi, if you can't get this, ideally you want the head. All right, but let's assume we're playing gi rules here. And let's assume I've got the key grip here. Now I'm going to pull. Now with a lot of techniques in jiu-jitsu, people rely on the arms. And you can get away with it for a period of time. Since I did weight training for almost a month, I learned that the lats are a muscle that you can use. So use your lats, much more powerful. So if Jun resists, and I just use my arms, no, I use my lats, keep resisting, I get a bit more power. So let's combine the two. Put the boot on, straighten the leg, thrust it through, lat pull, now go for your thing. You're adding more time to your clock of defending. Let's give you a third thing, all right? Very easy to remember. You can remember three things, right? Boot, grab, hip. I'm raising my hips up. I did it automatically anyway because I wanted to last a bit longer against Jun. So boot, grab, hip. Hip away or up. Basically, I'm elevating up. The higher up you are, the harder it is for him. So now do your worst. Okay, so I bought myself hours of time. And I haven't even done all this and all that, which you'll see in the go to your how to escape a single leg X footlock. That's what they show you, but they don't show you all this. I'm showing you this. Patented Seymour Yang. So, boot, grip, elevation. Those three, try them and see how long you last. 1, 2, 3, let's go. Actually, I won't. I'm gonna, can I borrow you, sir? Just you're sort of more or less my size. So if you put the footlock on me. Good. Here. Just about there. Okay, so I talked about putting the boot on and really putting the boot on, and you have to be very disciplined. Really peel those 2 toes back, kick the heel forward. Make his job as hard as it can. But that alone will be defeated. All he has to do is lean his weight back and your toes extending, okay? That's why this pull here or this grab here helps. Delay that. And then the hip elevation is a nice addition, a third, okay, with the lat pull. Various things you can do from here. Ultimately, if he's just static, not doing anything, I can stand. Once your foot is on the ground, there are no footlocks. He has to re-engage with a new kind of guard or sweep. So that's one exit. Another thing is, as you elevate the hips, I'm going to rotate a little bit away, which creates space here. Push the ankle down. Try to push higher up rather than on the meat of the heel here. Once you're here, then we do the hip elevation again. You can either sit on the leg, which is handy, because it's annoying for him, because he feels like instantly he wants to get this leg out, or you go over. All right, so we're going to do a drill where we're just going over the leg. So we spin around a bit here like this, so people can see. Boot on, grip, elevation slightly away, push down on the foot, rest, you're okay. Depending on the strength of your ability to hold him here, he's not going to get the footlock on you. Then we're going to hop over, like this. Now what we need to do is split these legs apart. Okay, and we have to change grip. Here, split the leg. This is a less talked about but important part of your defensive sequence. Splitting the legs. All right, and then from there you have the freedom to escape or counter-attack or whatever, right? Wow, a triangle from footlock escape. Imagine that. Boot, grip, elevation, sit, travel, split the leg. Okay, now we're completely on this side. There is still the danger of an attack, but there's nothing to hold you here. And there's a reason, if you just lie here, he's going to finish me. Finish my footlock without putting that there. Just finish, just tighten. Yeah, right? You can still get a footlock from this when there's nothing. But take advantage of the fact that you have complete freedom to move. A couple of extra things. I'm going to throw lots of things in and hopefully you can remember at least some of them. Let's go back to that position here. If you find all this a bit hard, There is something you can do, but it's very dangerous. And the reason it's dangerous is because I'm exposing my heel. So get the footlock on me now. Go on. Ouch. Okay, go back to beginning and get the footlock on me now. Anything? Yes. So can you see what happened there? You spoiled my punchline. I'm exposing my heel. Now since we're training in the gi and we're training just gi rules, okay, heel hooks aren't allowed. So I can risk exposing my heel. If it's no gi, I would never do this, of course. But just turning your foot outwards, and again, I'm not rolling out of it, is fine. So for him to finish the straight ankle lock, he has to rotate his body and change. And as he rotates, there's a gap for me to extract. The only time I would suggest would be you could get away with spinning out of something. But I'd say it's risky. It trains your body to do the wrong thing. So when you do heel hooks later on as you get better, that could be a problem. But it's there should you need it. Okay. Anyway, just to recap, this is what we're going to do. You do the leg lock on me. Defense, great. Split the legs. If he keeps it still clamped quite tight here, you have to really fight for it here. Don't just assume you can escape when he's clamped, because he could re-engage quite nicely. All right? So yeah, you can re-engage. Neither should you start splitting the legs when you haven't got past the knee line. Here, now I'm stopping him from getting the single leg X again, or indeed any footlock. Stuff the space and pass how you like. Okay, try that. 1, 2, 3. Thank you. Everyone happy with that so far? Everyone happy with that so far? Fairly straightforward, right? I'm trying to keep it as simple as I can and break down the barriers so that you can just use them the next session. Because what did Seymour say? Oh, just grab the gi, put the boot on. If you can, that's all you can remember, that's great. There's also the video to refer to. I could show you a lot more defenses. I'll give you a brief rundown. I also did a video which I posted on the event page showing all the defense mechanisms that you can deploy. I think we don't have time to show them all, and it's probably a bit boring to call back defense all the time. Everybody's, frankly, you're here for the attacks, right? So, Peter, if you come here. But I just want to show you the other things that I can do. So, yes, catch me here. So another thing I like to do is split the legs early and stuff here. Yes, catching it early is one of the things, right? And now do a straight ankle lock on both legs if you want. Just try. Yeah, you can't. There's too much meat in the way. And this actually is important for when you're defending heel hooks. One of the things is you want to stuff something in so it's hard to finish off the attack. What he wants to do is isolate the leg. And this scenario with the, if you do 50-50 on me, let's spin around. Thanks, Peter, making you work today. So this scenario is very vulnerable to attacks. As you can see, my foot is dangling there. So as he circles around for a straight ankle, assuming heel hooks are not a thing, it becomes a problem for me. So, but you often see the circling happening. Okay, so if you go back, rewind. As you're circling around, sometimes I can't get my leg out, it's tight, I just stuff it in here, like this. Another thing I do is I put it up really high. So try and straight ankle lock me. So what he has to do is split my legs apart. So now you have to use your elbows as like a karate chop down here, split the legs apart, and then I have to start doing this. So these are things that you can use. I'll just show them so you can deploy them. A little bit of foot karate is important, especially from 50-50 because you're both vulnerable. And while he's fiddling around here, you can start attacking here. Let's go back to the straight ankle lock with the single leg X here. The chicken wing, rotating around, blah, blah. Sometimes I feel that I can almost, just through experience, you can sense this is not going to get you the finish, despite all my filling of the space and all that sort of thing. I like to switch my foot positions before he has had the chance to pull the gi and do all the leg pummeling, right? Splitting the legs is probably the biggest thing here. I don't want my legs split. Also, the problem with single leg X, ashi garami, is that it's an open system. It's open, right? It's like playing open guard. I want to close it, so if I can create space and close it, all the better for me. Now his leg is completely encased, entombed in my system, and I can play with a variety of footlocks. But we can go one step further. We can hide this leg here, the butterfly hook. And this is your ultimate footlock, in my opinion, the best footlock. So we'll move back down a bit so you can see. How do we get there? Very simple. We're in single leg X. You don't even have to get the loop around the ankle. As I explained earlier, it's quite possible to finish without even looping around the ankle. We want to guard against the leg coming over. We want to guard against his hand gripping my gi. All right? So I'm at a distance. So he sits up to grip, my foot is here, and I'm pushing away. There will be grip fighting and all sorts of defending my territory. If the leg comes over to pummel, we block, or the worst case, if it does come over, we're getting rid of it, because I want to go to the next stage. Grip the knee, hips go back. I'm creating space now. The opposite of what I said. I don't want to finish him, I want to create an opening. Hips go back, that gives space for this foot to come over. If you want to play safe, put it on the hips. This is nice, you can finish from here. Okay, we're going to go one step further. Grip the knee, hip back again, insert your butterfly hook behind his knee, close the space. Now we can do any finish we like, any grip pattern we like. We'll just keep it to the guillotine grip. Hide, puff the chest, expand the hip, look behind you, and you get the finish. And it's a quicker finish, and it's harder to defend. Proof of principle, I'm going to get the ultimate thing here, right? And I'm not going to put it on yet. He grabs my gi, pulls as hard as he can. Doesn't matter. Because I'm so far down his leg, and this is so tight, I'm going to get the finish. But wait, there's more. Let's give some people's legs a rest. So far, we've looked at the straight ankle lock based on the single leg X, and everything is very one-sided. That's all we've done so far. And already you can see the layers involved in terms of what we can do from there. It gets even more fun when you are able to transfer the leg to the other side. You have to create space. Now, his leg might not want to go to the other side, so we would just use our hips and use our arms to bend the leg. We need the leg bent to make these work. So first of all, we're going to try the no grip straight ankle lock. Fill the space, puff the chest. Yes, elbow back, shoulders back, hips forward, and we're going to do the look. Maybe I'll get it. I chose the wrong looky. Then we're going to do the normal straight ankle. Look how I shrimp backwards to create space. Here's a little tip. It's nice to hold your gi. You get consistency with the pressure involved. And we just fill the space, puff the chest, fill the space. Great, it worked. Phew. Okay, then we're going to replace this arm with this arm. We're going to do a rear naked choke. And we're just going to, it's just a pain thing. Just going to, there. Should I add another one in? Okay, let's add another one in. Going back to this grip, we swap positions, and we still it out, and we do this. Okay, I'll give you, so that's 4 things you can do. Can you remember 4? I'll come around and help you. We all know this. We started from here. Everything's tight, single leg X. We're going to create space, and maybe don't resist too much. Just we're using this as a chance to practice. Pass to the other side, and we do the chicken wing. Okay, shoulders back, puff the chest out, hips forward, all the same mechanics. Okay, then we can proceed with the lean. Maybe you get a tap, maybe you won't, but it's annoying for you at the very least. Okay, we're going to go for the shrimp back, regular, straight, but this time we're going to grip the gi. Clamp everything together, fill the space, get the tap, good. This is just a drill. You don't actually do straight ankle lock sequences like this, there's too much space. This one, there's no shrimping, it's just you can already feel it. It's just the pain compliant pressure. Back to number 3, here. Creating space, looking behind you. Thank you, Rodrigo Cavaca, okay, for that one. 4 leg locks in 1, just all from crossing the leg to the other side.
Grabbing the gi on 10 pound guys.
I know. Yes, I like that smile, so that's basically. If you don't have a gi, same thing, just like pledge your allegiance to the Lord of Footlocks. Okay, 1, 2, 3, let's go. Those extra finishes are all legal at white belt. Let's go over some of the rules, just for your knowledge, in case you're a bit unfamiliar. Anytime the foot is trapped, and remember, I'm not even looping here. You know the chicken wing? That's trapping the foot. You're okay, as long as the knee that you're attacking points to the outside. When I manipulate him to the inside, and we're not talking about reaps yet, when I manipulate to the inside, even though I'm not attacking the leg, I'm trapping it as a DQ. All right, because I'm turning into the knee. Outside knee, inside knee. People get confused when we do this. Well, technically now I'm working on the outside. No, whatever attack you do, or not attack, I'm trapping the leg. As long as the knee you're attacking goes to the outside, outside, inside, outside, I'm okay. When I turn to the inside, I'm going to be DQ'd. Let's go back to the original single leg X. Now, if he, oh, sorry, buddy. I'll relax it. I won't do the attack. Let's assume his leg is completely trapped. If he turns to the inside, for example, say he wants to roll, inside. If he wants to roll, no DQ, because he instigated it as a part of an escaping maneuver. So I guess you could, in theory, look like you're attacking here, and he throws himself over there, and we roll, barrel roll that way, whoa, and I end up here, I'm okay. And in fact, I just wanted to quickly show the belly down ankle lock. Anytime you are facing the ground, you get the strongest of all ankle locks, which is like this. Which is, to be honest, room for a whole new seminar. So Jun can book me in for the belly down ankle lock, which I love, belly down ankle lock. That's the rules regarding IBJJF. Obviously, the no rules competitions literally mean no rules. You can do anything. Hence, the knee reap situation comes in. You can turn the knee inwards and start attacking. Let's talk about knee reaping. Going back to the single leg X, which we all practice today. With the foot trapped, anytime my leg crosses his belly button, even though the knee is not turning, is illegal. Okay? Disqualified. Not even warned, disqualified. In the old days, I think the referee just puts your foot away and warns you. But I think now it's just it's disqualification.
For a while, like for white belts, they did that. So like
they tap you, yeah. Yeah, but I think now it's DQ,
yeah.
Right? But here's the kicker, right? Is this legal or illegal under IBJJF rules, white belts please only? You're helping them see. It's legal. Why? Because the principal point of the rules is about the trapped foot. I haven't trapped the foot. I'm not touching it. Okay? I'm not touching it, which means I'm free to go. I can play my heel hook game without doing heel hooks. And the benefit of this, and you'll see lots of people starting to do this now because they are mixing both sides of the jiu-jitsu sport game, is that they'll enter into what we call inside sankaku and attack the far leg. And as long as the knee isn't turning in, right, I can start doing my, even the basic straight ankle lock. You probably wouldn't get a tap on the black belt like this because black belts are built tough, right? Especially Peter. But you can do toe holds. This is a toe hold. It's called the corkscrew ankle lock or the lens lock, but it's a toe hold. Because remember what I said in the beginning of my warm-up, where the toes crunch down and the pressure point is here? That's a toe hold, right? I'm just changing my body orientation, but I'm doing this. And again, not arm pressure, upper body pressure. He's already, and try and escape. Yeah, you can do that. This is my favorite of all the ankle locks. And as a black belt, I'm allowed to do it on white belts. But white belts aren't allowed to do it on me. You got that? So do you want to practice that as a sort of advanced? It's not really advanced. We're just understanding the rules. We start from single leg X. We cross it over. Grab the knee. Don't trap the foot. And we're triangling our legs. Inside sankaku. Okay? People who do 10th Planet Nogi know about this. This is their bread and butter. We're not going to touch this leg. Doesn't mean you can't touch it. We're not going to trap the foot. The moment you look like you're trapping the foot, the referee disqualifies you. Grab the far knee bring it towards you. He doesn't like it because he knows you're circling. He brings it over here. Fantastic. Underneath over, I guess it's kind of an esteemer lock as well.
It is.
Yeah. You can do the rear naked choke version and play rhythm games as they tap you. Okay? Thank you. Sorry, buddy. Try that. It's my final one of the day. And then we'll wrap it up with some Q&A if you have some questions. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Thank you very much.